What's happening, mate?
How do you mean?
Well, it's not exactly kicking off, is it?
Oh no, it never does. To 8 o'clock!
Sets up Larsson here. Larsson. Oh, he's in! Henrik Larsson! That is sensational! O'Reilly. How about that for a pass? Jota! How about that for a finish? That is Jota for you! In for Henrik Larsson. And Rodgers! His first goal for Celtic! Here is Shunsuke Nakamura! Exquisite!
Good evening all and welcome back to the Celtic Unrestricted View. I'm JP and joining me in this fine Wednesday evening for the pre-match build-up of Celtic in the Europa League, taking on Braga, should I say, where's my teeth, at Paradise, early kick-off at 5:45. It is indeed Daniel. Well, Daniel, it's been a wee while since I managed to have a wee chat with you actually. So it's good to get you on, mate. I'm looking forward to this wee chat. How have you been? Hope you're well.
Not bad, mate. Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's well. Hope everybody's looking forward to the game tomorrow. If you are attending the game, do let us know in the comments. And mate, it's been a busy week, but listen, all that comes to a standstill when the Europa League nights return to Celtic Park.
I know, and it is, we say that we kind of your Adam's apple gone off shaky there as well, because you're not used to saying Europa League. The last few years we've had the luxury of saying Champions League. It isn't where we are this season, mate, so it's one of the ones we just need to kind of grin and bear it and get on with it.
Aye, definitely. I think the sting is still ever present, but listen,
It's a hard one to go over, isn't it?
It is, mate, it is. But we've done it in the past and we'll do it again, and hopefully by this point next season we'll be reflecting on what was a successful Europa League campaign and looking forward to another crack at getting into the Champions League. Yeah,
that's the only thing we can do now, mate, is certainly look forward. And obviously, no more than anyone else, I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow. As I said earlier, up next we've got Braga. Before we come into all that, I want to say a very good evening to everybody that's tuning in with us across the platforms. I hope you are all well. Hope we're having a good week. Hope this depressing weather's no upset yous. And if you're going to the game, as Daniel says, let us know and we can have a wee chat as we go. Come to a few comments. We've got Anne, Jem, evening JP, Daniel and the chatters. Our good man Ryan. Evening lads, hope all is well. Tomorrow's a must win and a good performance is also needed. We need a spark back in the team tomorrow and could do that. Bernardo needs to play. A lot of needs in there, Ryan. You've got more needs than my missus, mate. And by the way, I didn't think that was possible, Daniel. Honest to God. But him and Alan were on a group chat earlier on, and that's what I said to him. You're a pair of moaning women, man. I think they were moaning about the price of milk nowadays, man, as well. And Alan was asking Ryan, was it past your eyes? He said, no, it's only up to my knees. That must have been a big goal I found in.
Oh, no, man.
Nobody wasn't wearing that salmon hoodie when he found in it as well. But all good, boys. Naylor in as well. Good. Well, says God evening. Whatever that means. I don't know if that's a biblical thing the Wednesday night for Naylor there. Sligo boy. Hail all. Good evening. Paul Maguire. I nearly said Paddy Maguire. Paul Maguire. Hail trips. Big Rabs in as well. It says, hail, good evening, gents. Are you keeping it about the games on the pitch and not banging on about the board toll show. There'll be a bit of both tonight, because obviously the game is the most important thing to me. But obviously there is stuff to talk about in terms of the Celtic fan collective, or Celtic Collective as they are named. So I don't think, Rob, to be fair, mate, I don't think this kind of stuff's going to go away, mate, until the club bring their silence to an end. I think that's the cause of what we're seeing just now with the fan base. Ron Boy also, evening guys, hail. And a big Alan, I know. It must be 2 for 1 night on a Scotto, man. They two are not here, and me and you are here, Daniel. Evening, everyone. Here's hoping for a positive performance and result tomorrow. Yeah, I agree with that. The club could stop all this and speak to us. They are causing their own issues. You know, that is a topic, Daniel, that's been ongoing, mate. I don't want to kick us off chatting about that because I think there's been enough said just now. There is an update that I'm going to obviously read out tonight, but we'll do that as we go. Alex McInnes says, hail. Good evening, Alex. I hope you're well. Frank Kennedy as well. Evening, boys. Hail. Right, enough of that. Daniel, obviously we've got next up Europa League, mate. We are the hosts for FC Braga. How's your Braga knowledge these days? Have you been brushing up on it?
Well, I think Braga are one of the teams. They don't really make many splashes. I think they stick to the same style of football. I mean, obviously they have that fantastic stadium located up in the mountains, but yeah, Braga don't tend to change much. I think over the past few years in Scotland, definitely they've become quite known with a few fixtures against the team across the water. So I think we kind of know what we're going to be in for. But I can't say my Braga knowledge is pinpoint, mate, but I've got a rough idea.
Yeah, obviously, in terms of the season for Braga, we're up against a side who currently sits 7th in the Portuguese league. They've only got 9 points for their opening 7 games. They've scored 11 and conceded 7 goals, Daniel. At the weekend there, they lost 1-0 to Nacional. Mm-hmm. And they are coached by a man most folk, if you know your football, will be well aware of. His name is Carlos Vicens. He used to be part of Pep Guardiola's staff at Manchester City as a coach. I think that was an avenue they went down, Daniel, where they thought, this guy's obviously got a bit about him. He's worked under Pep. We'll have a look. But I do know there's murmurs, mate, going on that, there's quite a lot of their fans not happy with him. And that loss to Nacional at the weekend certainly hasn't done him a world of good, mate. Yeah,
definitely. I think when you look at the start to the season, it's not reflective of the kind of a stage we'd expect them to be at. I'd say Braga over the years have become one of the most noticeable teams in Portugal. Obviously, you've got the big two, and then I'd say Braga slip into that third there. But yeah, it's been a poor start to the season for them. And listen, when a poor start to the season, the pressure does start to mount on the manager.
By the way, they were at home at the weekend as well, Daniel.
Well, that makes it even worse, mate. So yeah, it's definitely a team that is in a bit of a sticky spot now. So hopefully Celtic can capitalise on that and find our edge behind wherever it's been hiding. And yeah, get us as positive as a result as possible against a team that are looking to have had a poor start to the season.
Yeah, they've actually only had 1 win since the 31st of August. So 31st of August, they played Rio Ave, which was a 2-2 draw. They then followed that up by playing Gil Vicente. They lost 1-0, again at home. They were away from home on the 20th of September to Guimarães, and it was a 1-1 draw. The only team they've beat which was their Europa League opener, and they beat Feyenoord 1-0 at home. And then, as I say, the weekend's defeat was at home also. So we are getting a team here who certainly domestically, they've not, they've certainly not started the best way they could have, and what their fans may have been expecting. That being said, you've then got Celtic, who have started the season. And although people have said that Celtic, we're not firing just now and we've not quite hit our rhythm, we are undefeated as it stands. Domestically, we don't look like conceding a lot of goals. Right off the bat, and just now, I'm going to be honest, I haven't watched Braga. I've seen a bit of their footage from their game against Feyenoord. It looked a bit of a damp squib. The goal in the game came quite late in the game. So they scored, I think it was around the 80th minute of the game. It was a Spanish lad, Navarro, got a goal. So you're looking at that, and to be fair, it was a game of squash, a game of back and forth, both teams cancelling one another out. Nobody really wanted to take that bit between their teeth to try and go and win the game, and then ultimately, due to a bad mistake from Feyenoord, if my memory serves me right, I think it was a boy Jeng at centre half for Feyenoord. He goes to try and play the ball out, and he makes a mess of it, and Braga's press is just on it right away, and then they win the ball back, and then they go on and score from it. So if it hadn't been for that mistake from Jeng, you're probably looking at an infinite draw there, Daniel. Yeah, I know you flip back and you look at Celtic, mate, and we were over in Belgrade. Probably a harder of the ties because Braga were at home against Feyenoord. And we walking away from Belgrade going, we should have won that game. We had enough chances to go and win the game. So going into, obviously, tomorrow night, and I know it's an early kick-off as well. In terms of Celtic's approach, Daniel, off of the back of what you've seen on Saturday from them against Hibs, which was a lot more attacking, a lot more on the front foot, in my opinion, I thought we played some really good football on Saturday, mate. But in terms of your own thoughts going into tomorrow, mate, where do you think we are there?
For me, in my opinion, it's a must-win at all cost. We say that the biggest key to success in Europe is to win your home games. And I think in this Champions League, sorry, force a habit.
I know you're that used to saying it. Don't forgive yourself, mate. It's been that long since we've had to say something else. This
Europa League setup, we should be looking to win all of our home games. And for me, if we don't, then it's deemed not a good result, in my opinion. Now, listen, Belgrade, good result, in my opinion, because it's away from home in a hostile environment. But if that game's at Celtic Park, then there's questions there, because we say that we don't look like conceding goals.
Yeah.
At times this season, we've not really looked like scoring them either. So I don't think we can afford another draw if we want to take it seriously. For me, it needs to be a win. It needs to be an attacking performance, and that spark needs to reappear from whatever. That ruthlessness that we've seen previously needs to be ever present in the mindset of the players. Because, like you say, Braga don't look too impressive right now. But listen, these games aren't a given. So for Celtic's approach, I think it's just go out, play the football you know you can play. You've got the fans there. It's at home. Go and put on a performance and make a big statement in this Europa League. Yeah, that's where I stand. It's a must-win game at all costs, and for me, nothing other than a win does become a bit of an issue.
Yeah, and it's an opportunity, isn't it? Because we're at home. So as Ryan says, it's an option to not only is it an option, it's a chance for us to try and begin to maximise the points you can when you win your home games, you know, and take full advantage of that. In terms of the crowd, mate, what's your thoughts in the way the crowd? Do you think it's going to be near a sellout? Do you think there's going to be a lot of empty seats? What way do you see it going? I've not heard. I'm personally not going to the game. My small protest. I've come off the Home Cup ticket scheme now, so that's my small protest to it. You know. So in terms of your own thoughts, where do you see
it? For me, I don't think it's going to be a full stadium because, like you said, a lot of fans are not going to the game, removed themselves from the Home Cup ticket scheme, and then I think when you look at the general sale price as well, and there not being any concession tickets or prices and stuff like that, it's full price regardless. So if you're a young family and you're looking to take your child to the first European game, you're looking at 90 quid there. So that'll put a lot of people off as well. So I don't think it'll be a full house, but I do think it'll be quite busy. But yeah, I don't think it'll be full capacity, but I don't think it'll be too far off it either. I think it'll still be a reasonable number of fans there supporting the team no matter what. But yeah, the pricing is the biggest thing for me, that fans will look at that and go, maybe no, actually.
Yeah. As I say, I don't know what way to kind of sway it in terms of what way the crowd's going to be or how many's going to be there. But I'm with you. I think there'll be enough there to fully support the team. Obviously, we know there's going to be a silent protest as part of tomorrow. We'll get to that. We'll come to that. But after that, then it's going to be boom, straight into I would imagine the singing and everything else, the way it was in Saturday. It's a wee bit daunting on Saturday, Daniel. I don't know if you were there in attendance, mate, yourself, but it was, nothing was happening. And then all of a sudden, boom, they just started singing. And see, when the singing happened, it was as if the team got a fright. Because it was drums, it was noise, it was just boom. It was as if something had exploded in the stadium.
Yeah.
And I had a joke with my dad after a game, and I said, as much as I thought we played some good football on Saturday at times, and we created quite a lot of chances, but I says to my dad, I says, we played better football before the singing. I says it was as if the singing gave the team a fright, and all of a sudden the team just went, what the hell's going on, and lost a wee bit of their way for a bit. But yeah, I think there's got to, especially the first part of the verse in a song they're going to sing, somebody just belts that drum for the first time. It's like an explosion going off in the stadium, mate. You're just least expect. Because see, when you're watching the game, Daniel, when you're in the stadium, you probably know yourself, mate, you're not looking at the clock. You're not looking up there at the screen in the clock. You're watching the football. So then you don't really realise the boom. You know what I mean? That it's going to happen. So, yeah. It can be a bit daunting for the players. But we'll touch on it before we come to the team and obviously the players and that. We'll touch on it just now because obviously there've already been a small protest, and that was on Saturday. That was the beginning of it. And it was basically relating to this year. So there no sound like silence. So for the Hibs game, there was a 12-minute silence. For tomorrow's game, there's going to be a 29-minute silence, and that represents the 29 days the club have been silent for since the statement. And then I think they anticipate more silence. So the 32 minutes will be 32 days when we play Motherwell on Sunday. That'll be the 32nd day since we've heard anything from the club.
Mm-hmm.
There has been a new kind of report, and it's put out by the Celtic Fans Collective. I'll put it up for everyone to see if anybody is struggling to see it. I will read from it. So obviously at the top there, you can see Celtic versus Braga fan protest, UEFA Europa League, 2nd of October 2025 at 17:45 Celtic Park. So this is basically a summary. And it says, at Celtic versus Braga, the Celtic Fans Collective has called for a 29-minute silent protest to last from kick-off until the 29th minute. In terms of that, just there, Daniel, I'll keep this up for folk to have a read through while we're chatting about it. In terms of that yourself, mate, what's your overriding thoughts there, just on that? Because I've seen a lot of mixed conversations, mixed opinions and stuff, but what's your own?
Yeah, definitely. It has caused a bit of mixed opinions. But for me, it's a step that I think everybody knew was going to come eventually. I think we're a bit surprised at how quickly it has become that. But
Yeah.
listen, this is one of the only ways for me that the fans can protest as much during these big games, because the club likes to advertise and use that support, that noise of the home ground, and promoting the sale of tickets to us, whether that be season book or European packages or whatever. So for me, it's as if the fans are now going, well, if you are going to use us to promote that to us, then we're just not going to do it.
Yeah.
Now, can that cause detriment to the team? Yes, it might. But in my opinion, these guys are professional footballers. Most of them have played in front of no fans at some point in their career. So they
tried it in COVID when we were rotting at it.
Exactly. So most of them would have played in front of no fans at some point in their career. They should be able to handle it. If they can't do the job on the pitch with no fans, no, I'm not saying the fans are irrelevant. The fans are huge. That's why the biggest factors.
Yeah.
But this is where the fans are at now. They're so frustrated, and the fact that it's been 29 days since we've heard a peep from the Celtic board after an AI generated statement basically calling us idiots. So it was a matter of time for me. But yeah, I think it's a next step, and because we're very limited to what we can do about it. So it was always going to be, at one point, I think a lot of fans are just surprised that how quick it's reached that stage. And I know they're saying, "Oh, back the team, back the team." It is backing the team, but the way that they've put it is, it's in Celtic's court. It's not as if they're just refusing. They said, "We don't want to do this. Like, yous can stop it." So they were very intelligent in the way that they've done that. They've put it to the board. So it's their choice. They either communicate with the fans or it continues. And whether that is to the detriment of the team in the short while, that's something that I think would benefit us in the long run. And for me, just to see that longer term change, I can take a short period of maybe not doing so well in a few fixtures or a few games. I don't know how you feel about that, mate.
No, I remember when Celtic didn't do well in fixtures, mate, and I remember the feeling. I don't want to go back there again. I remember COVID very well as well, and no, I don't. It's not an easy thing, this. I do agree with Ryan. I think the hierarchy are certainly bringing this on themselves. You've got guys like Brendan Rodgers doing interviews saying that he hopes that we can come to some sort of, not an arrangement, but some sort of amicable way of dealing with this. Previous to this, Rodgers has said that he's of the belief that the hierarchy are looking at ways of communicating with the fans. Doesn't it take you 29 days to come and have a word? And knowing my opinion anyway, Daniel, personally, and I don't know what's keeping them from doing it. I don't know if they feel that they're going to receive a lot of backlash, because when is a good time, Daniel? They've left it so long now. Is there going to be a lot of anger? There probably will be. So, reading on just now, it says here, the protests reflect 29 days of silence from Celtic board refusing to respond to an open letter signed by 420 Celtic fan clubs and organisations. The protest is the second of 3 silent protests at Celtic home matches. So these silent protests and the numbers represent the amount of days that Celtic hierarchy and moneymen have remained silent. That's basically what these days are. So obviously we've seen the 12-minute one. Tomorrow there's an organised for 29 minutes. And it says here, the objective of the silent protest is to remind the Celtic board of the importance of fans. It is hoped that the unusually quiet stadium will draw attention to the Celtic board's incompetence and negligence. The Celtic board could have ended the protest by simply engaging with supporters, but have chose not to. This is part of a sustained pattern whereby the Celtic board refuses to engage with supporters. That's another one, Daniel, that's really getting at me as well, because if I was in that boardroom, mate, I'd be wanting to put an end to this rather than prolong this any longer. And for me, I don't, apart from coming out, now I said this a long time ago. Remember when Don Mackay came in with Big Ange? And he came right in and he was doing like the fan media stuff, and it was him that started the fan media. That's who brought in the fan medias and press conferences. It was Don Mackay that started that, because that wasn't always a thing. Celtic fans and fan groups and podcasts and everything that you see now weren't allowed to be part of that. But Don Mackay was a guy that piloted all that. So that's an opportunity, in my opinion. Now, I've heard Peter Lawwell's name getting mentioned a lot of the time. Peter Lawwell's nothing to do with, that side of this anymore. He's a club chairman. His duties are a different duty from Michael Nicholson and Chris Mackay. Michael Nicholson is the now what was Don Mackay. So for me, Daniel, he's the guy that should be coming into these fan medias and having a word. Now, I was on my mark a couple of weeks ago, and I know more than anybody, mate, there isn't an easy way to do this. However, there's legalities, mate, into what they can actually tell us. A lot of the things they won't be able to tell us. But what they can do is communicate. What they can do is give us an idea of the club's vision. What they can do is give us an idea of where they see the club going. Because ultimately just now, the timing of the processes in the transfer window are not fit for purpose. That's what started all this in the first place, mate. This has got nothing to do with the football. This has got nothing at all to do with the football side of things. And I've heard fans say, well, Celtic win things, and that's totally fine. That takes care of itself. That's because of the way the club operate. Listen, they are top class operators doing all that kind of business side of the stuff for the club. But when it comes to the methodology and the processes, something's breaking down somewhere, Daniel. Something's not going sweet, because we're continuously leave ourselves late in transfer windows to bring players in to negotiate qualifiers for the Champions League. We also went into a Glasgow derby minus players. Now, we're talking about players. We're not talking about quality here. We're just talking about numbers. Fans are still asking, where's Kyogo's replacement? Now, we understand now, Tenetke, Balikwisha, they were brought in, Brendan told us, they were actually to replace Maeda.
Yeah.
Because ultimately he was supposed to be going. And then the Adamida thing was a new thing.
Yeah.
So they brought Iniacho in for Adamida, which, by the way, looks as if it's going to be a decent move and a decent bit of business.
Mm-hmm.
But the Kyogo thing is still lingering there for me. Because we lack goals, Daniel.
Yeah.
Now, this could be down to confidence, mate. It could be down to, could be down to a number of things, mate. But if a guy like Daisen Maeda had half of his house packed up, ready to go, mate, it isn't a surprise as to why his performance levels are not there. So, in terms of that, mate, what's your own thoughts there? Because, like I says, mate, I don't think there's going to be an easy fix for this.
No.
But we certainly need some sort of back and forth, and that's the thing that we're not getting just now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And I think we've seen that kind of a radio silence from the board. So the fans are now going, is that right? Well, it's your turn to do that now. If you're only going to engage with us, then we're not going to engage with you, because there's a statue outside Celtic Park that says on the side there, football without fans is nothing. And this is what this fan collective is saying. We've been disregarded, our opinions, communication with the board, we've been disregarded for so long, which has ultimately led to failings within recruitment and then failings of qualifying for the Champions League. So they've went, you know what, we're fed up, we're not taking it anymore. This is what we're going to do. Am I saying it's the right thing? In my opinion, yes, but many people won't agree with that. They see it as damaging the team. I mean, that is definitely an aspect. It might do that. But for me, they're professional footballers. They should be able to still go out, do their job, play a game of football and win. That's my opinion.
Yeah, listen, I can get it. I can understand that. And I understand the people that are coming and saying that, this could really damage the football club and the football team. I think Brendan said it a couple of times as well, I think we touched on it earlier. In the defence, we're okay.
Yeah.
There's something missing middle to front just now. There's a spark. There's a cohesion. There's a rhythm that's not there. Something's wrong now. That could be down to not just Daisen Maeda, by the way, wanting away. There could be others.
Yeah.
But we're in a position just now where the transfer window's closed. These boys now need to wait to the next transfer window in order to go. Well, Rab, see, the thing is, mate, I know you've said there was no big offer for Maeda. I'm not sure of that, mate. I don't know. All I know is for what I've heard, he agreed terms to go to Brentford. And he's allegedly packed his house up with his wife and his family ready to go. And it went into the last day of the window and Celtic couldn't get anybody. That's seemingly what happened. And previous to that, there was a lot of confusion as to what was going on and everything else in his life. So I'm not sure if there wasn't a big offer or, it was maybe something else that was lingering. But it's quite clear to see. I heard someone say that Saturday is the best he's been since the season began. We've played a number of games now. He's been involved in every one of them.
Yep.
And if that's the best he's played, which he still wasn't for me up to Dyson we saw last season, then if he's going to continue, Daniel, I call it being in a huff, right? Mm-hmm. That's the way I've always called it. I call it throwing his rattle out the pram.
Yeah.
I've always called it that, even when I played. That's what I call it. And when I was used to be in the dressing room, I used to say, go and pick your dummy tit up. Like, seriously. I wanted away, I wanted to go, and I didn't get my move. Well, you can't sit and sulk about it.
Yeah.
Because the first thing I'd be saying to him is your wages going in the bank, me man, every month?
Yeah.
Aye. Right. So that means you've got a job to do.
Yeah.
Me and you don't do our job right, Daniel. We get took down a disciplinary route for it, pal.
Exactly, mate.
So these guys shouldn't be any different, you know. You're playing for one of the biggest clubs in football, mate. Understand that you had a bigger picture in terms of finances for your family. And I get that. I can totally get that. In terms of club stature, you were going to a minnow compared to what you're at just now.
Yeah.
Fortunately for you, they play in a league that you can be given a higher wage bracket than what we would be able to offer you, even with more terms to what you're getting just now.
Yeah.
Because as a ceiling, Daniel, we can't offer 70 grand a week or 60 grand. Now, that might not be a lot of money in the Premier League, but it's humongous money up here. And before anybody in the comments come in and say, but JP, we've got all this money in the bank, we still can't afford to pay somebody that amount of money in wages every week.
No.
Even we were 77 million. And that's where I go back to it, Daniel. And I've always said, Scottish football is not the biggest draw in football. I'm afraid that's the reality. And you have to take that into consideration when a transfer window comes around.
Yeah.
I get all this, you don't ask a question, you're not getting any answers, blah, blah, blah. But you also have to be realistic. Kasper Dolberg, here's a perfect example, right? Now, Celtic went for him. Maybe once, maybe twice in that transfer window there. Whatever it might have been. We don't know. We weren't privy to that. We weren't a fly on the wall. So, who knows? I'm only reading bits of what could have been. Celtic go to the table with Kasper. Good offer. You know, and he moves over it. And I think he's thinking about it. Because Celtic are bigger than Anderlecht, in my opinion. But he's played for Ajax. So as soon as Ajax have picked up the phone, regardless of what Celtic have offered him, and Ajax say to him, do you want to come here? He's probably done his due diligence by then, Daniel. And he's read about having to travel in the cup to Dingwall. Or having to maybe go to Annan. Or having to play in, up at Tannadice and up at Dundee's Dens Park and a wet Wednesday night as we go down the calendar. I don't mean to be rotten, mate. Look at the surfaces at Kilmarnock, Livingston, Falkirk. In my opinion, professional footballers shouldn't be playing on that kind of surface. Let alone Premier League football, by the way. And I know the rules change because next season they all have to have grass and everything else. That might make them play better, by the way, being on the grass rather than what they're doing now. But it's a show you're looking at there. It's a full piece, an article you're looking at there. And I'm afraid, and I don't live in denial. Scottish football, Glasgow and Scotland, it just isn't a massive draw. I've said it before, Daniel. The only reason Celtic have Brendan Rodgers, Kieran Tierney and Jota in amongst their squad just now is because of their connection with the football club. They've all previously been at the club. And it's the same for Kasper Dolberg the other way. He's been at Ajax, so he's got a connection with that football club. As soon as Ajax came to the table, mate, he was never coming here. Never.
Yeah.
Even if Celtic offered another 5 million on top of what they'd offered, he wasn't coming here, mate. I think there needs to be a wee bit of realism as well when they were going out. That's why I keep saying Celtic's model is always the way it is. Now, I get people say, this needs to be tweaked, that needs to be changed, this needs to be changed. Totally get it. I'm with that. The methods need to be changed in and around the way we do it. The way we recruit, if it means getting reports in earlier, getting your due diligence done, going to the table with actually decent amount of offers rather than knowing a guy's worth 5 million quid and then getting in and bidding 1.65, only for 2 days later the chairman to come out and say that's a shambles.
Yeah.
Don't know about how you feel, Daniel, but for me, mate, Scottish football isn't the big draw that maybe we think. We're born into it, Daniel. So we're already here. It's all we know. I'm afraid in the big bad football world out there, mate, it's very small, mate.
Yeah, definitely. I take your point on board, and it is valid. I do agree. Scottish football isn't the biggest draw, but the Celtic board made it very evident that their focus isn't Scottish football anymore. It is on progression in Europe, and you talk about the processes there. The processes that they've followed don't match that. So if you're going to these players, a lot of the links that we had in the summer there was, well, they're going to wait and see if we qualify for the Champions League, because that's our big draw. That is our big draw. Because our league.
Yeah, it's the biggest carrot we can dangle for a player.
Yeah, definitely. So if you're saying on one hand that's our ambition, that's what we want to focus on, that's where our money's going to go, and then you don't match that, that's also why a lot of players are turning around and going. Pff. I mean, I think players watching that Kairat Almaty game would have laughed and went, they wanted me to go there and they can't even beat them. And then you also
9 goals in the last couple of games in the Champions League as well.
And we couldn't even put one past them. 120 minutes of football plus extra time. So yeah, for me it's that. And then obviously we talk about our board, the board member coming out and saying it's a laughing stock is what it's became, because for a club chairman to come out and say that is embarrassing, and that will also plummet Celtic's stock in the Champions League pool or the European pool, because players don't want to get involved in that. We're seeing ex-players come out and Benjamin Siegrist and say things still aren't changing. So open about what has gone on here. So
look at Yang.
Exactly, mate. He was on the bus.
There's a guy still in the building. He'd done a medical for. There was a photo of him. It's been took down now. There was a photo of him in Birmingham gear.
Yeah, exactly. There
and
you
he
go.
could have been playing against our good friend last night in the game at St Andrews when they took on Sheffield Wednesday.
He got phoned to come home to Birmingham. Now, this is because we didn't have anybody else. We couldn't get anybody else in. This is a guy we spoke about not even being good enough to be a squad player. It's ridiculous in the processes, and that, for me, is the biggest reason that players are going. Because you look at the Jacob Broom situation, that's embarrassing. Totally embarrassing. And I don't want to keep hashing it up, but that's, for me, where it lies.
Am I right in saying that Celtic moved on for that, though, quite quickly? Because there's been news emails that it was him and Tenetke, and then they've went for Tenetke, which I find really bizarre, right? Because Jacob Broom is a number 10. He plays a number 10 through the middle for Go Ahead Eagles. Anytime he plays, he's played behind the striker. But we were signing him on the basis that he was a winger. Yeah. And now they've now signed Sebastian Tenetke. So is maybe that a factor there, Daniel? Was they've maybe realised, well, this boy's he's actually a number 10 and we're looking for a wide man. Yeah, it might well be, but it doesn't excuse the embarrassment of the bidding process that went on there. But that also speaks volume, because if you are meant to have top class scouts, surely you can recognise that actually this guy isn't a winger, so don't put a bid in for him, rather than we'll just sling them a couple of quid and hope that it lands anyway, just in case. It's a joke, mate. So yeah, for me it's evident, and I'm not surprised that players did turn down us in the summer because of the processes, and then obviously the embarrassment of going out to Kairat Almaty. But yeah, I understand that Scottish football isn't
the highest pedigree. We've not got the same amount of money as these other teams. But listen, if you have got an offer for Celtic, or you only see cash signs and want to go somewhere else, by all means go, because if you don't want to play for the club, you shouldn't be in the club, in my view. And this also comes into view with Dyson's professionalism. We've seen Brendan talk about how professional he is as a player. So that needs a big... There's been a lot of emphasis put on that, so Dyson now needs to go and match that. If he's not going to do it, we've seen Brendan whip him out the team. That, for me, is the best way to go about it. If you're not going to perform, you don't play for whatever reason. Simple as that. And I think Brendan's been a bit pick and choose with that recently, because we do know he does have his favourites in the team. We've seen it. He is quite stubborn in his squad selections. So it was a big statement doing that for me. So hopefully that's something that we can continue moving forward. If you don't want to play for this club, you will not play for this club.
Yeah, Big Ange made a great comment, didn't he, when he was up here, and he says, I shouldn't have to convince any individual to be here.
Yep, exactly, mate.
But I can understand that, you know, Dyson's been here 4 years. He's been here a while. It's not as if he's just in the door and he's now kind of making a song and dance about leaving.
Yeah.
For me, if he was hell-bent and wanting away, Jesus, can you imagine if the club let him go?
Oh, I know.
But that's what I mean. But now we've got a player on our hands who his performances have taken effect by it, but he ultimately looks really unhappy.
Yeah.
He just doesn't look happy at his work.
Yeah.
I would argue and probably say Rio Hatati's the same. Now, I've not seen any evidence, and I'm not trying to, by the way, I'm not starting a rumour here or anything by any means. But, you know, you're trying to rack your brains and think of these guys. They've been at the club a long time, Daniel. So, and they're younger, they're youngish men as well. So, Celtic's not a be all and end all for these guys. These guys never grew up Celtic fans. They're Japanese.
Yeah.
So Dyson will be looking to that World Cup, and he will want to make sure he's in that squad to go there. One thing I want to touch on with you, Daniel, is the manager. In terms of Brendan, Daniel, do you think Brendan's doing his all just now at the football club in terms of getting the most out of what he can of the players and the team? I'll ask you that why, because I know I'm probably the only one that's doing this, but I pin the blame on the Kairat result on him. I blame the result on Saturday against Hibs when we had an opportunity to try and change the game and put someone extra up top with Iniacho.
Yeah.
And he didn't do it. He just went man for man.
Yeah.
Which in the end didn't work out.
Yeah.
Same in the Kairat game, especially the game at Parkhead, mate. That was the one that we should have won comfortably. I'm being disrespectful when I say that. That's a team that we should have beat comfortably over the tie. And the players failed, but so did the manager, Daniel.
Yeah.
I'm now beginning to see, you know, there's wee bits and bobs for Brendan where you're not getting the craft. Look at Brendan last season, right? Look at the way he was driving that team from America. We haven't seen that now, Daniel.
Yeah.
Now, people will say, Jai Pierce, people missing for that squad. 100% there is. But there's also people who were brought into the football club than that squad that was in America who enabled us to compete. I repeat, compete with Bayern Munich. To the point that we nearly put them out the Champions League, or could have given them a real fright in the Champions League.
Yeah.
No, we were the last kick of a ball or going to extra time. And the tie. That's where we were. So when you see it now, not just the players, Daniel, the body language for the manager seems off to me.
Yeah.
And I just don't know, mate. Well, I can't put my finger on it. Again, I don't want to make silly accusations and start saying he's chucked it. And I've seen a lot of people say he's mentally checked out. I'm the one to say it like that. I'm just wanting to say that he's lacking a wee bit of craft from the side, in my opinion, in some of these games now. Where I'm looking over and going, right, are we changing this here? Are we bringing this guy on? Are we going to do this? We're going to. In my head, I'm trying to write what he's going to do next. But what's your own thoughts here, Brendan?
Yeah, I definitely think for Kyra, the squad that were there, albeit it was a weaker squad, I do think the squad that was still there should have been able to do the job. So for that, ultimately, there is a mix of feeling that does land at the board's door, but there is also a sizable chunk of that does land at the players and Brendan Rodgers. So, but I think that stubbornness from Brendan is something that we've always seen. He wants to do it his way, and
by the way, it's not a bad thing because it's brought us
no,
success.
it's not. It does. It has brought us success, but in some of these games, because we know he does, we know he's capable of doing it because he has done it at times. So everybody is now thinking, why is it no? Especially in Europe, if it's not going your way, you need to change it. You can't. I mean, we've seen that with Ange. He didn't want to change it, and we got drubbed. So if in Europe, you definitely need to have a backup plan, especially in the games against a team across the water as well. It's went stale, in my opinion. We've not looked like giving them a proper challenge in a good few games now. It's as if they've got him sussed out and they know how he's going to set up. They know how to get a result against that. And yeah, he needs other options, or it's just going to continue down the same path, and then the blame will eventually land at his door. Because I think he even said in that press conference, when they say sack the board, that usually means the manager loses his job. That's not the mentality that you should be carrying. You should be looking to do. Now, I get it, he's not had everything that he's wanted. I understand that. But he's been the biggest advocate of, this is what's here now, let's go and do our best with it.
By the way, he's been fully backed as well. So it's not as if he's had a good chunk of money at him since the time he's been back, Daniel, as well. So it's not like I'm not sitting there saying that now, listen, he's only had a couple of quid here. He's been backed heavily.
He's been backed, but I don't think he would want. I don't think he's had everyone he's wanted, if you get what I mean. Like, there's been some guys that you think you can look at it and go, that's not really a him signing. So, yeah, for me, it's this stubbornness needs to change, because Celtic need to have at least a few combinations in the chamber moving forward, especially with the amount of games that are coming thick and fast moving into the festive period. But yeah, the more this goes on, the more chunks will start to land at the manager's door, because at the end of the day, it's him that picks the team and it's him that puts the team out. So if you are consistently picking the wrong players, or backing the wrong players, should I say, something's got to give. Do you know what I mean? And I do think he is very frustrated and very tired, and I do not think he will renew his contract. I think we will see him leave at the end of the season. But like you say about the players, if the club's still putting your wages in your bank account, you've still got a job to do to the very best of your ability. Because if it was me or you, we'd be sacked in the morning.
Yeah, no, 100%, mate. Yeah, I just wanted to touch on Brendan there, because I think he's getting an easy ride of it. I think he seems to get away with it a wee bit with a lot of your support. A lot of the attention's getting put on the hierarchy and the money men and everybody in there, but a lot of people just seem to forget, he's the man in charge. He's the man at the head of the table. So he's the guy now that's got to manage that squad. 5 new players, Daniel, bedding into our squad, mate, just now. Kieran Tierney's obviously come back, but he's got his own issues just now. I've seen him walking about. I've seen a training video today. He's got a big, I think he's got 2 broken fingers, but it looks at him. Looks like it was either that or it was a Michael Jackson glove he had on posing during training. But I'm pretty sure, if my memory serves me right, these two fingers on his hand taped together
Yeah.
with a kind of plaster. So I wonder what's happened to him there. I wonder if that's been a
I
training
mean,
incident or
we've seen him with that on his hand, and I can't remember what game it was. I think it was over in
Belgrade.
Belgrade. Sorry, just went out of my head there. I think he did have his hand
He
taped
never
up
played
in
against
Belgrade.
Hibs, didn't he? No. So
No, he didn't play. So I think we did see him taped up in Belgrade. So I don't know what's happened there, but maybe somebody stood on his hand in training or something.
yeah,
but,
he might have received a wee instant. But obviously, KT's one of them. You've got Sriracha, he's another one who played the game against Hibs and was outstanding for me against Hibs on Saturday. So that's two. You've then got Benjamin Nigrin. You've got Sebastian Tenetke and you've got Kelechi Iheanacho. Now, I've selected those guys predominantly because they're all taking part in Celtic's first 11.
Yeah.
Here or thereabouts.
Mm-hmm.
You've also got Balak Wisha and there's other boys in there.
Yeah.
But the ones that I've mentioned, Daniel, you write them down in paper, mate, and you look at that and you go, that's really good players.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, mate, I think that's only part of the issue as to why we're not seeing stuff free flowing at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people still try to bed in their way, and I heard that I heard somebody say, but so's Motherwell, so's Hearts, and I said, yeah, that's true, but they don't have to contend with what Celtic have got to contend with. They don't have the massive fan base, the pressure to win. They don't have Champions League qualifiers at the start of the season.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even have Europa League qualifiers at the start of their seasons. So they can quietly go about their business and bed in players and do what they're doing. Motherwell have played football since the first week in July.
Yeah.
To bed in their new players along with their new manager. Because that came off the back of the Motherwell manager saying that he's not coming to Celtic Park to mess around. He's coming to try and win the game.
Yeah.
And he won't just sit behind the ball, which, by the way, I'm looking forward to seeing that because it's not very often so I hope he's a man of his word. But if he tries to open up, and I'm not being rotten, listen, Motherwell are a good side in their own right, and they can make it very difficult for teams. But if they come to Celtic Park and open up, Motherwell don't have the manpower to open Celtic up.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion, Daniel.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'll touch on that later as we're talking about Motherwell, but this is what I'm saying about Brendan bedding in these players. You know, you look at Tenetke, he's already showed what he's all about, in my opinion. He's only going to get better.
Yeah.
Iheanacho, he looks a massive step up to Adam Ida and more of a focal point there.
Yeah.
I know he was unlucky not to get a goal at the weekend. He was offside. It was marginal, if anything, mate. That was really tight, in my opinion. Benji Nigrin, I've liked what I've saw of him. He's just, again, he's one of those players still trying to find his way.
Yeah.
The pass for Iheanacho's goal over in Belgrade was exquisite. I thought that was one of the best passes I've seen for a wee while, actually, just to run with the ball the way he did across the 18-yard box and then to slip Iheanacho in was class. And again, it's something more I want to see a bit of him, Daniel. I want to see Nigrin playing in that kind of 10 role to see if he's got that in his locker more rather than just once or twice. I thought he actually did well on Saturday again. Benji Nigrin, when he came on, I thought he injected another wee bit of energy to the team. So when you look at those five guys I've mentioned, Daniel, what's your thoughts of them? And obviously, how are you with the way, they're trying to bed in and the way things are looking with them?
Yeah, I think some players have shown the positive side of it, whereas some players are kind of looking to need a bit more time. I think KT's kind of took a duck to water again, back in his natural environment, knows what he's doing. Tenetke as well looks to show some good quality. I think it's too early to make some. I think we still have some big games coming up for him to show us what he's really about. But so far, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Same with Iniacho. He's already shown massive improvement from Adamida, in my opinion. But again, he still looks to need a bit more time to get up to match fitness. But I think with Benjamin Negrin, I think he's starting to fall into that category of our midfield looking a bit stale. So for me, I definitely feel the midfield is something that does kind of need looked at, whether that be personnel change or maybe even looking to either bring in some further reinforcement in January, because the midfield seems to be where it's cutting. It's cutting us off at the knees because the ball's moving out the defence lovely, reaching that midfield, and no one's getting their head up, no one's driving, no one's looking to play that pass. Now, some players are showing it in some games, and then other games they're not.
Yeah.
So no one's staying consistent for me enough in that midfield. And then obviously that does affect your forward line. But I think in our recruitment of the forward line, we spoke about for so long, wingers. I think now we've kind of ended up a bit lopsided. But we did see Dyson Maeda start on the right-hand side.
That was new, wasn't it? Because we hadn't...
No.
It's been a while since he's played there, and obviously trying to bed that front three together, it's going to take more than just Saturday for it to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. But Maeda playing on the right is something we did see initially under Ange when Jota was on the left, but that's again something, how long do you give that before you go, well, it's either working or it's not. So I think that front three is definitely our strongest at the moment. On paper, that would be the combination that looks to provide the most threat. But yeah, I definitely think our midfield needs shook up a bit, whether that be players getting, I don't like the word dropped, but rotated, and other guys given a bit of a chance, especially in this big, busy schedule coming up, because the spark, like we said earlier on, it just seems to be flickering rather than, oh my God, this is it. So yeah, I think some guys do need a bit more time to bed in and get used to it. But yeah, I think other players give us benefits, especially in that midfield, because for me it's as if Brendan's he's trying to force a triangle shaped peg into a square hole and just hope that that's going to click, instead of actually going, right, well, it's no clicking to the best of our ability. How can we look to change that? Because don't get me wrong, midfield, with plenty of numbers there. So why not try as many combinations as possible and see what we get?
Yeah. I'll be honest with you, mate. I thought McCown was excellent on Saturday as well. I thought he looked really refreshing when he came into midfield. So he's certainly one that will not go away quietly. That's for sure. There's an argument for Bernardo to come into the Celtic team as well with fans.
Yeah.
I get that. Listen, I don't think Paulo's in a place just that. Was a really bad injury he came back from. And it's just been unfortunate that the Celtic midfield was previously so good that he's not been able to find himself back in the team. Everybody seems to forget what this Celtic side have done already, you know, in terms of what they've won and what they've been through together. So what we're seeing just now isn't this mob's first rodeo. It's no... They've all had difficult points in their careers. I saw somebody the other day, you know, writing on social media saying that Callum McGregor shouldn't be playing for Celtic just now and we should be sticking him in the captaincy and giving it to somebody else. I have never heard the biggest load of nonsense in all my life. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Do people just overlook everything just because of one or two results don't go your way? Like, I'm sitting going, I was in disbelief, man. I could not believe what I was reading. So just to take the captaincy off Callum McGregor because we never scored against Hibs.
Yeah.
Like, is that what we're hearing here? You know? obviously touching on the game tomorrow, Daniel.
Mhm.
It's a different challenge
Yeah.
for me. I think it'll certainly be a different challenge for what we're used to domestically. Don't forget, a lot of teams we've set up against domestically might have that kind of low block in their team.
Mhm.
That 5 across the back, try to keep it tight, maybe try and hit
Yep.
Celtic in the counter. Braga aren't going to do that, mate. They're not going to play with that kind of low block.
Mhm.
They might play with a mid block, but it'll
Yeah.
still be to try and press us when they can up the field to win possession, to then make us go the other way.
Yeah.
What I think that'll allow us to do, if we can,
Mhm.
is move the ball quicker.
Yeah.
We need to look at moving the ball quicker.
Yeah.
That's something that's been lacking for me. And when I say quicker, Daniel, I mean playing forward.
Yeah.
It's easy to go sideways and backwards, but it becomes a pattern, mate. It becomes a habit and a routine that you get into when you do it that often.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, you can play forward now. Taneki will come short, and Iacho comes in, and Maeda always looks for a ball. My only issue with Maeda is he's going to have to get used to playing out on the right because he likes to drift centrally all the time.
Mhm.
So see, when he's playing out there, he was doing my head in at times on Saturday. I was like, right, mate, you need to be back out here.
Aye.
Because Tony Ralston's looking for a pass down the channel. You're not there.
Mhm.
So he's having to then give it infield to Engels, who, again, every time he looked up, everybody was going away from him. Come and get the ball.
Yeah.
Don't go the other way. So, yeah, I think when you play in Europe, it allows you to play differently, especially at home, because teams set up differently from you.
Yeah.
As well. They'll not try and be compact. They'll try and, obviously they need to do it with a tactic in mind and a strategy that they're not going to go gung-ho and get opened up like a tin of beans. But they'll be a bit more attack-minded, Daniel, which then should allow Celtic more time and more options open on the pitch.
Yeah, definitely. Braga are going to look to come to Celtic Park and win the game. And that seems to be the thing with Europe. It does allow us to be that forward-moving, expansive play that we've become so accustomed to. It's just whether we do it. Because we've seen, I don't know how many times I've been sat this season alone screaming at my telly, move the ball quicker, move the ball forward. So it just comes down to whether the team are actually willing to do that. I do think that the way Braga look to set up will influence that 100%. It's just whether the players have the mindset to go and actually do that. Because, like you said, we've got players to do it now. We've got players that can come short, receive the ball. I mean, I think Iheanacho's got a touch like a fly trap, man. I've never seen a footballer kill a ball dead so quickly in my life and be
He's so
able to
good at
move
it,
it.
and he's got that kind of John
I mean,
McGinn arse. He just turns off the back of it as well, isn't he?
It's like
it's
from one extreme to another.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So yeah, the option is there to do it. It's just whether the players go and actually deliver. So it's a massive, massive tie moving forward in the Europa League, and I would like to see the Celtic that we know can turn up actually turn up and win a game the way we know that they can do it. So it's a huge. Don't get me wrong, it's not going to be easy, but I think a fast start and, like you say, moving the ball quickly, keeping that high tempo that we know of, will definitely put us in a good position to go and win the game.
Yeah, James, last comment there is James McKeown in the comments. He said, what, like Kairat? Well, Kairat defended. Kairat came and defended to frustrate Celtic. They were probably not many teams will do that in Europe, James. Not many teams will come to Celtic Park and just sit in and defend. That tells you where they are. And ultimately it worked because Celtic weren't able to break it down. Same way as we weren't able to break Hibs down, because Hibs offered nothing on Saturday. And last season they were getting talked about as one of the biggest attacking sides in Scottish football, And they offered nothing. I think they had one shot at goal, and it wasn't even on target. So, as I say, in Celtic had 26 shots. 9 times out of 10, like a team like Braga is not going to come and sit in a low block at Celtic Park. They're just not going to do it. It's not in their makeup. It's in their makeup to try and pass the ball and move the ball and run in off. They've got guys like Ricardo Horta, guys like Florian Grillicic. So some of these guys know how to play football. They know how to, move the ball and play 1-2s and move in and out angles. So that then allows us to play differently when you see that. Because it also challenges you, Daniel. It challenges you as an individual as well. Right, now we're at the bit where, obviously, I'm going to ask you what you think the team's going to be tomorrow.
I think we'll see a pretty bog standard back line. I think we will see Casper in goals, centre back pairing of Cameron Carter-Vickers and Liam Scales.
Mm-hmm.
Kieran Tierney at left back, and then right back for me becomes the decision: do you go with Colby Donovan? I think he will, purely because of how well he done in Belgrade. We've seen him rested at the weekend, so I think we will see him in there. Midfield 3 for me, I would like to see Arnie Engels, Rio Hatate, and I think he'll go with, Cal McGregor, sorry. I got mixed up there, sorry. Cal McGregor, Rio Hatate, and I would like to see Arnie Engels.
I was getting interested in there, Daniel, I've got to be honest, because then I'm wondering where the captain's armband's gone there.
Coming that time of night, mate. No, Cal McGregor, and then Engels and Hatate. And then I think we will see again that front line of Sebastian Tineke, Collectve and Nacho up front, and Dyson Maeda on the right hand side.
Yeah, I think the team will be Kasper Schmeichel. I think it'll be Kobe Donovan for the fact that he came out. Brendan did say we'd like to manage him. I didn't realise the amount of games Kobe had played back to back. He played about 6 games in a row. Mm-hmm. Bearing in mind he played the last international for the Scotland under-21s, I think it was, and he had played the 2 back-to-back international games of that last international break. So adding in all the first team chances that he got, including that one over in Belgrade last Wednesday. I keep going to say last Thursday. A week ago tonight. So for me, I thought that was out the team on Saturday, if I'm being honest. This isn't a slant on Anthony Ralston. He's just not attack-minded as Kobe Donovan. Kobe brings you that energy that Alistair... I'm not saying he's as good as Alistair, but he brings you that energy the way Alistair Johnson can get up and down.
Yeah.
And he also brings a physicality and a height that is missing there if Anthony Ralston's there. Good evening to yourself as well, Glasgow Celts. I think it'll be Kobe Donovan, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Liam Scales, and I think, I'm going to be honest, Daniel, I think it might be Sriracha, mate. How do you drop Sriracha from that performance on Saturday? I think there's something going on with Tierney now. I don't think he's bang on 100% fit. That's just my thoughts. I might throw a spanner in the works there by throwing people's heads a wee bit. I think he might go with an unchanged back 4. Or a 3 out the back 4 at least when you had Sriracha there, and I think he'll bring in Donovan. I think the midfield will be Callum McGregor, I think it'll be Rio Hatate, and I think it'll be Benjamin Nygren, and I think the front 3 will be the exact same as what you said. Maeda will start out in the right, Iniacho through the middle, and Sebastian Tineke / Ronaldinho out on the left. I'm calling him Ronaldinho because that's how he puts me in mind. The way he just eliminates people, Daniel, was frightening, man. He puts the fear of God in people. Watching him against the Hibs, the boy Cadden, even when he came on, they actually took the right back off because he got a doing on Saturday, and they brought on the boy Cadden, and then he gave him a doing. He gave him a doing before he went off.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's, for me, yeah, I think that'll be the team. And I think I'm going to say Celtic will win 2-0. There you go.
Oh, a score prediction as well.
Yeah.
I think it will be a 2. Yeah, I'll go the same. I'll say 2-0.
2-0.
2-0. I'd like to see
We'll be on after the game on Thursday night, giving it on. No, we get beat 2-0. We predicted it. We predicted the right score, but for the wrong one. James says Kaneki only had 61 touches, yes, and 60 of them were touches by his opponent, James. I guarantee you, every one of them he skinned his man. Boys, different gravy for me. Naylor actually says it'll be 1-1. There you go. So, Big Rab says 2-1 to us. CCV mistakes. Oh. Seen a wee bit of that, actually. We are seeing more and more creeping into his game.
Yeah.
Big Scalesy seems to have gone the other way. He's colossal for us just now, in my opinion. And it seems to be Big Cameron Carter-Vickers that's doing. But yeah, in my opinion, mate, give a ball to Taneki and we'll see. But here's a question, Daniel. What do we do when Jota's fit? What happens
then?
That
is the question, mate.
Apart from other teams jumping into the supermarkets to buy bleach.
That is the question, mate. We do know that Jota can play on the right-hand side. We've seen it. So it just becomes a case of who's... Because will we see Maeda still at the club in January? Who knows?
No.
But I don't think we will.
I'll answer that now. No.
I don't think we will personally, so I don't think he will come into the equation. But yeah, I think we'll see Jota maybe on the right. I'm just praying that the injury hasn't had too much of an impact on him and he can return to the absolute whirlwind of a footballer. I know he is. But listen, I would rather have a headache of two quality guys than do I play Gang or do I play an Asian James Forrest. So yeah, that's a bridge to cross when we come to it. But nah, for me, Taneki is showing the signs that he has a good bit of money spent. Oh no,
100%. Listen, he's going to break. I don't care. I'll put my neck out there now. He will break Matt O'Reilly's 30 million transfer. There you go. There's my prediction right now.
There's your headline.
There's your headline. Snip it all you want, folks. Away you go. Run with it. In my opinion, he will, if he continues to perform at the level he's performing at, and where I see him getting to over the next year or two, then I think he will break Matt O'Reilly's transfer record. And Matt O'Reilly has it at 30 million. And I think he'll go for more. There you go. That's my prediction. However, there is growing concern that we are going to miss him after the festive season. I think the African Cup of Nations starts as well. And unfortunately, I think he's going to be. So we're hoping by then Jota's going to be here and back and ready for us because we could be missing a massive talent. But his elimination skills, a 1v1 for me, Daniel, are off his scale, mate. And I've bigged him up since watching him against Kilmarnock, mate. Doing it on a pitch like that tells me that he's capable of doing it. Before I saw him on Saturday, when I saw him on Saturday, he never disappointed me, mate.
Yeah, definitely. I do wish all the best to him and Tuna's here, but I will be rooting for them to go in the group stage. Just so we have them back as quickly as possible. But no, yeah, special. What?
try and get something on him. Get him picking his nose or something at the team meetings or something like that. We'll send it to the Chinese F. Don't pick him like he's a disgusting habit. But Daniel, cheers again, mate, for coming on, having a wee chat with us.
Not a problem. I hope everybody's enjoyed it, listening to us too, rattle away. And listen, to anybody that's going to the game tomorrow, I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's a positive result. And yeah, let's kick this Europa League into gear and push to do as best as possible.
I just think the commenter there, settle down with the praise. He's not played a team. Well, Red Star are synonymous with playing in the Champions League. So if that's no a quality side and a step up from what I says in where he's playing his domestic football, and I don't know what is. So listen, as much as we could probably say Celtic's to beat him. Yeah.
We have said that there is bigger tests to come for him, but we're allowed to be excited as part of the game. But yeah, there is bigger tests to come from him. There's no denying that. And me and Ryan have both said on here that your big tests are still to come. But for what we're seeing so far, it is positive, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, that says tomorrow night, folks, we will be back on live after the game. So we will be doing a full-time analysis of what the game turns out. I think it's myself and Sean that's going to be on tomorrow night. So looking forward to that. It's good to be back myself. I've been off for some time due to some family things and just my veins growing up and taking up a lot of my time and doing things with them. So, but it is good to be back, having a chat about things that we all love and the team we all love. And yeah, as I said, it's always good to chat about Celtic. But for the time being, thank you to everybody that's tuned in with us across the platforms tonight. We look forward to seeing a lot more of your comments and interactions with you as we go through the rest of the week. But for the time being, for now, hail, take care. See you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Sets up Larsson here. Larsson. Oh, he's in! Henrik Larsson! That is sensational! O'Reilly, how about that for a pass? Jota! How about that for a finish? That is Jota for you! In for Henrik Larsson, and Rodgers! His first goal for Celtic! Here is Shunsuke Nakamura!